I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for passions. And what is this podcast about? About passion.
Healing at a heart level.
Yeah, healing at a heart level. We'll be talking about that. Like, can you really pursue your passions if you haven't healed? Or maybe the pain that we have in our life is actually something that creates passion. And so, what's your passion? So I'd encourage you, draw a circle and then list everything you're passionate about. Because I believe that when we understand what we're passionate about, I believe my worldview is that we're creating God's image. And so God created us very uniquely, very special. We're amazing, absolutely amazing. All 8+ billion of us are, and we're all unique. And so we all have unique passions. Like we might have passions that overlap. We might have passions that overlap. We do, I'm sure. Some, but when you look at it, like, is it like a fingerprint? Is it like a fingerprint where there's just no two fingerprints that are the same of the 8+ billion people? Is it that unique? I think it might be. So do that, and then join the podcast or join the Life GPS mobile app, and you'll be immediately assigned a mentor for this group. And so don't just sit and enjoy the podcast, but share it with, at least 2 other people that you care about. Not that you care, but you do care. Share it with 2 other people and see how your passions interconnect with other people's passions and how together we truly can accomplish so much more than we ever could on our own. So this is going to be an exciting journey for us. Just warning, there might be some tears, there might be some anger, there might be some frustration. It might be pretty intense journey. Like, we're passionate about something. If you're not, you can't probably have any anger if you're not passionate. You probably, like, passions probably connect into everything. Today, we're going to kick off this we're going to go into the deep end really, really fast. And we're going to talk about healing at a heart level. And so I was introduced to the concept of being hurt at a heart level 19 years ago ish. And Rosanna, my wife, and I, of 39 years, we were 21 years married, something in that. We went to my Uncle Gary and Aunt Carrie's place, and he's a pastor, has a lot of experience in counseling and stuff like that. And we were there and going through a really tough time in our marriage. I mean, it was brutal. I mean, just brutal. Like, it easily could have ended it. And my Uncle Gary, like, he was pressing on me, and which was fine. I don't mind that when people do. Like, it shows me that people care. And so he's pressing, and he's not getting through. He can't make a breakthrough. And after about an hour of it, Annie Care said to him, she said, Gary, it doesn't seem like you're getting through tomorrow. He laughs and he says, yep, doesn't seem like that. She says, let me give it a try. And I think she kneeled down. I don't know. Somehow it's like she looked straight into my eyes, all the way down into my soul. And she said, Mark, I think you've been hurt at a heart level. And I started crying uncontrollably. Like, it was just like tears just sobbed. I mean, I'm like, he can't break through. He can't get any emotion. He can't make any ground. All she does is made an observation. I think you've been hurt at a heart level. And I was just broken, and I'm crying and sobbing, and there was tears. It was a mess. And after a little while, I composed myself enough, and I said, so, Aunt Carrie, like, how do I fix that? How do I heal it? She's like, I don't know. Like, really? Like, really? This happens to me a lot with a lot
So I've heard that story a few times, Mark. One question I have you ever figured out what specifically was your hurt when she asked that question, what the hurt actually was?
Do you remember asking me that question in the past?
I do not.
Yeah. So that was going to come just a little bit later, where I was going to appreciate, validate Ken. He's my, youngest brother. So he'd asked me that question in the past a couple of times, actually. He says, "So Mark, I'm just curious, like, you know, what's the hurt at a heart level?" Um, and so it might be a good. So, so I felt really good that she didn't have any answers. There was nothing there. So I set out on a journey over the last 20 years to go ahead and figure out how to heal from being hurt at a heart level. And if you ask me, have you figured it out? I'm like, I don't know if I have. Um, this is, this is one of my journals. So over the years, over the years, um, so this is, five, H's to healing. So it's like have a soft heart while guarding. So you can tell he's done a little bit of work on this. This is, so hurt at a heart level. To heal, it's like maybe you have to be hurt at a heart level. And then maybe you have to be helped at a heart level. And then maybe the fourth is healed at a heart level. And then maybe fifth is, this might be a stretch, herald at a heart level. What that means is like saying, hey, there is healing. And so then I started doing research on desires of the heart, God's heart, David, a man after my own heart, guard the heart. Heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. Who can, know it? And then hardened at a heart level, and then prideful at a heart level, and then, can a leader greatly hurt a company? That's interesting. Love, personal observations. And so then it drills into hurt at a heart level, and then, heard. And so over the years, I've done this is my journal here, so this is my journal entry. I don't see a date on it, so I'm not sure when it was. So this breaks it down into it. So I think this is when I, had the 9 Ds to defeat, that connected into it. Divide, distract, divide, defer, deflect, defend, deny, destroy, disguise, deceive equals defeat equals depression. And then the 7 Ps to prosperity: passion, purpose, potentiality, positivity, persistence, perspective, and a plan. And so, it talks about the truth will set you free. And so there's a lot here. So if you go ahead and want to have access to this, it's fine. Maybe we can collaborate together. So maybe we can collaborate together on this thing. And so you just need to connect with your mentor. You just need to connect with your mentor. If you don't have a mentor, you can check with Elaine, and you can email me if you want. If you're listening to the podcast and you want this, you can go ahead and email me at mboersma, BOERSMA, the number 5 at gmail.com. And then I'll put you in contact with Elaine or somebody on her team. Or if you want to text me, my phone number is 630-393-9909. You can text me and ask me for the white paper on healing at a heart level. and Sue. And we'll make sure you get an art buddy. 'Cause you need to have a mentor. You need to have a mentor on this thing. Like, this is not something you go through on your own, I don't think. I mean, I did. I wouldn't recommend it. So we got a few more minutes here in the podcast. I'm more than happy to answer Ken's question again. That might be beneficial, actually. Or it might not be. I don't know. Does anyone have any questions on this? This is interesting. This is the exercise I was talking about. So you draw a passion circle, and then you list everything you're passionate about. And you can be like Catherine. She has since passed the physical life. So you can do any, this is Katrina, this is our middle daughter here. So you can be creative. It doesn't matter how. I love, I love Sarah. She's 5. And her life vision, I'm here to play and learn. And the center of all of our passions, I believe, is our life vision, what God's put us on this planet. Like, why would we be given passions if they weren't for something of purpose, something of intention? And so, anyways, so I would encourage you to go ahead and do that for sure. Do your passion circle. See, I think passion is like love. Like, my wife and I have 7 kids and 8 grandkids. And so if you have 2 kids, it doesn't mean you love them half as much as if you have 1. I think passions are like love. I think the more you love, the more love you have. The more love you have to share, the more love you have to share. Like, it's not finite. It's not finite. Love is not finite. Passion's not finite. The more passionate you are, the more passions you have. I think the more passion you have, the more things you're passionate about, the more passion you have. It's not a finite amount of energy. It's infinite, I think, like love. So does anyone have any questions or thoughts on what we, covered up to this point?
No.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll finish this podcast here. And so do the passion. If you've done it in the past and you're like, it didn't work, well, I mean, how many things in your life have you done in the past that haven't worked the first time? Right? Like, it's always interesting. I tried that, didn't work. Now I expect that from my grandkids because they're small, they're young. Like, that didn't work, Grandpa. Okay. Are you different? Are the people around you different? I mean, if you're not different than you were in the past when you tried something, well, then I guess it's okay. It, probably won't work again. You're probably right, but not for the reasons you think you are. Henry Ford said, if you believe a thing to be true, believe it not to be true, either way, you're right. Like, right? And so hopefully this podcast series from Voices of Integrity, hopefully it will be life-changing for you. Hopefully it'll be life-changing for your relationships. Hopefully it'll bring great healing. Hopefully it'll awaken you. For all the men out there, what does every woman want more than maybe anything else from a man? I think it's to be awakened. I think she wants to be awakened. If you ask, what do men want from, more than anything else from a woman? I think it's to be awakened. It's to understand how amazingly created we are. Like, we have a life vision that's unique, that's different than every other person. Like, your vision is just as important as mine. Like, your purpose and why you were created and what you were put on this planet to do is just as important as mine. And I think when we discover our life vision through our passions, I think what it does is it puts our pain into context. When our pain is in context, we're not like the walking wounded. It's like the pain, the trauma, the hurt, it actually has some place to go. Like it has some place to go. It's energy. It's like nuclear energy. Like nuclear energy can go ahead and destroy crazy amounts of things, but it can bring great power and energy to a lot of good things. It's like trauma, like it's like pain, like, and it's a choice. And I don't think it doesn't have to take, maybe in another podcast here, we'll explain, what happened at 19 to me and then at 22. And then many other times up to 59. So if you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300 outside the US 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye. And share this with others.